The Israel-Palestine conflict has once again erupted, casting a long shadow over the Middle East. This isn't just another flare-up. The fighting in Gaza is more intense, more destructive than ever before. The conflict has also spread to Lebanon, raising fears of a wider regional war. The images coming out of Gaza are heartbreaking. Hospitals overwhelmed, children pulled from the rubble. The human cost of this conflict is immeasurable. The international community is scrambling for a solution. But with tensions running so high, finding a peaceful resolution seems almost impossible. Gaza is on the brink. Weeks of relentless bombardment by the Israeli military have reduced parts of the city to rubble. Hospitals are overflowing with the wounded. Essential supplies are running out. The IDF launched a ground offensive in Gaza, aiming to dismantle Hamas's infrastructure. But the cost of this offensive has been staggering. Thousands of civilians have been killed, many of them women and children. The situation is nothing short of a humanitarian catastrophe. Aid agencies are struggling to reach those in need. The people of Gaza are trapped, caught between the crossfire of a conflict they did not choose. The conflict has also engulfed Lebanon. Hezbollah, the Iran-backed militant group based in Lebanon, has launched rocket attacks on Israel in solidarity with Hamas. Israel has responded with airstrikes on Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. The fighting has caused widespread damage and displacement. The Lebanese people, still reeling from years of political and economic turmoil, are now facing the terrifying reality of another war. Hospitals are struggling to cope with the influx of casualties. As the fighting intensifies, the international community is desperately trying to broker a ceasefire. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has been leading diplomatic efforts, shuttling between the region's capitals. But so far, these efforts have yielded little progress. Both sides remain entrenched in their positions. The conflict is fueled by decades of mistrust and animosity. The longer the fighting continues, the dimmer the prospects for peace become. The risk of the conflict spiraling out of control grows with each passing day. Section 5. America's divided response. The conflict has also exposed deep divisions within the United States. These divisions are not just political but also deeply personal, affecting communities and families across the nation. While the Biden administration has reaffirmed its support for Israel's right to defend itself, it has also expressed concern about the mounting civilian casualties in Gaza. This dual stance reflects the complexity of the issue and the challenge of balancing strategic alliances with humanitarian concerns. The administration's position has not gone unchallenged. It has sparked a wave of protests and public outcry. Many Americans are deeply troubled by the images and reports coming out of Gaza, leading to a surge in activism and advocacy for Palestinian rights. On college campuses and in the streets, protests against the Israeli offensive have erupted. Students and activists are organizing rallies, sit-ins, and teach-ins to raise awareness and demand action. These protests are not just about foreign policy, they are also about social justice and human rights. The conflict has reignited debates about America's role in the Middle East and its unwavering support for Israel. These debates are taking place in Congress, in the media, and in everyday conversations. They are forcing Americans to confront difficult questions about their country's foreign policy and its impact on the world. Support for Israel remains strong among many Americans, particularly within certain political and religious communities. Political rallies in support of Israel are being held across the country, with participants emphasizing the importance of the U.S.-Israel alliance and the need to stand by a key ally in a volatile region. At the same time, there is a growing movement advocating for Palestinian rights and calling for an end to the occupation. This movement is diverse, encompassing people of all ages, backgrounds, and political beliefs. It is a stark reminder that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not just a distant conflict, it has the power to divide societies and ignite passions far beyond the Middle East. The conflict is a stark reminder that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not just a distant conflict, it has the power to divide societies and ignite passions far beyond the Middle East. Candlelight vigils, heated debates, and public demonstrations are all evidence of how deeply this issue resonates with people. It is a testament to the enduring and far-reaching impact of the conflict, and a call to action for those who seek peace and justice. Section 6. Echoes of conflict in culture. The conflict has also found its way into the cultural sphere, permeating various forms of artistic expression and public discourse. Artists, writers, and musicians are using their platforms to express their solidarity with the Palestinian people. Through vibrant murals, evocative poetry, and powerful music, they convey messages of hope, resistance, and unity. These cultural expressions are not just limited to art galleries or concert halls, they spill into the streets where public demonstrations and protests amplify their impact. People gather, holding signs and chanting slogans to denounce the violence in Gaza. In today's interconnected world, social media has become a battleground of competing narratives. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are flooded with posts, tweets, and stories that reflect the diverse perspectives on the conflict. Images and videos, often graphic and disturbing, are shared widely, bringing the harsh realities of the conflict into the global consciousness. These visuals evoke strong emotional responses, shaping public opinion and fueling the flames of anger and resentment. Public squares and parks become arenas for heated discussions and debates, where individuals engage in conversations about the conflict, its causes, and its consequences. These dialogues, both online and offline, reflect the deep divisions and passionate convictions held by people on all sides. The conflict is a stark reminder that even in the digital age, war leaves an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. Memorials and exhibitions serve as poignant reminders of the human cost of conflict, urging us to remember and reflect. As people visit these memorials and participate in community gatherings, they are confronted with the harsh realities of war. These experiences force us to confront uncomfortable truths and to question our own values and beliefs. Street interviews and public debates reveal a wide range of opinions, highlighting the complexity of the conflict and the diverse perspectives that exist. These conversations are crucial for fostering understanding and empathy, even amidst deep-seated differences. Ultimately, the echoes of conflict and culture serve as a powerful reminder of our shared humanity. They challenge us to look beyond the headlines and to engage with the deeper, often uncomfortable questions about justice, peace, and our role in shaping a better future. Section 7. The Human Cost of War. Beyond the geopolitical complexities and the diplomatic wrangling, it's crucial to remember the human cost of this conflict. Behind the statistics and the headlines are real people whose lives have been shattered by violence, families torn apart, children orphaned, homes reduced to rubble. These are the enduring legacies of war. The scars of this conflict will run deep for generations to come. Section 8. A Glimmer of Hope. Despite the bleak outlook, there are glimmers of hope. Ceasefire talks, though fragile, are ongoing. International pressure is mounting on both sides to find a peaceful solution. The road to peace will be long and arduous. But the alternative, a wider regional war with catastrophic consequences, is simply unthinkable. Section 9. Stand with humanity. The conflict in Israel and Palestine is a tragedy for all involved. The images of destruction and loss are heart-wrenching, and they serve as a powerful reminder of the devastating impact of war. Families are torn apart, homes are reduced to rubble, and communities are left in ruins. The human cost of this conflict is immeasurable, and it is a stark reminder of the urgent need for peace. It's a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the urgent need for peace. Each flower and candle at these memorials represents a life lost, a family grieving, and a community in mourning. These memorials are not just symbols of loss, but also of resilience and hope. They remind us that even in the darkest times, the human spirit can endure and find ways to honor those who have been lost. We must all do our part to support efforts to end the violence and to alleviate the suffering of those affected by this crisis. This means not only providing immediate relief to those in need, but also working towards long-term solutions that address the root causes of the conflict. By supporting humanitarian organizations, we can help provide food, shelter, and medical care to those who have been displaced by the violence. But we must also advocate for policies that promote peace and reconciliation, so that future generations do not have to endure the same suffering. Donate to humanitarian organizations providing aid to those in need. Your contributions can make a significant difference in the lives of those affected by the conflict. Every donation, no matter how small, helps to provide essential supplies and services to those who are struggling to survive. By coming together and supporting these efforts, we can help to alleviate some of the suffering and provide a glimmer of hope to those who need it most. Contact your elected officials and urge them to support a peaceful resolution. Our voices can make a difference, and it is important that we use them to advocate for change. By reaching out to our representatives and urging them to support policies that promote peace and justice, we can help to create a more just and equitable world. It is up to us to hold our leaders accountable and to demand that they take action to end the violence and promote peace. Above all, let us choose hope over despair. In times of conflict and uncertainty, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed and hopeless. But it is important that we hold on to hope and continue to work towards a better future. By standing together and supporting one another, we can create a world where peace and justice prevail. Let us choose to believe in the possibility of a brighter future and work towards making it a reality. Let us raise our voices in unison and demand an end to the bloodshed. Our collective voices have the power to bring about change, and it is important that we use them to advocate for peace. By coming together and speaking out against the violence, we can help to create a world where all people can live in peace and security. Let us stand with humanity and demand an end to the bloodshed. The future of Israelis and Palestinians alike depends on it. The children of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and it is up to us to create a world where they can grow up in peace and security. By working towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict, we can help to ensure that future generations do not have to endure the same suffering. Let us stand with humanity and work towards a brighter future for all.